Every day in my courtroom is a lesson in human nature. For decades, I have sat behind the bench in Providence's municipal court, hearing countless stories attached to parking tickets and speeding citations. When we began broadcasting these hearings in Caught in Providence, I never expected them to resonate with so many viewers. Yet clips of people appearing before me for minor infractions, running a red light, speeding in a school zone, have racked up millions of views online. That popularity stems not from sensationalism, but from the authenticity of the interactions. The show's tagline reminds viewers that these are real people, not actors, and asks that they withhold negative comments. The episode titled "Daddy's Guilty" was posted on September 18th, 2019, and has been watched more than 3.4 million times and liked over 60,000 times. Its success underscores how a simple traffic hearing can touch hearts when kindness and accountability meet. Let me set the scene. It was a crisp morning, early in the school year. The docket was full of cases involving traffic violations. Amid the shuffle of papers and the hushed conversations, a man entered with two young daughters trailing behind him. I glanced at the case file and saw 2 citations for speeding through a school zone. School zone violations always get my attention. Those lower speed limits exist because children are unpredictable. They dart between parked cars, they drop toys, they daydream. The law reduces speed to create a buffer, a margin of safety. On this day, the defendant hadn't just been caught once but twice. As I would later tell the courtroom, our intention is never to throw the book at anyone, but the law is there to protect children like those now standing before me. Before addressing the father, I looked to his daughters. They were perhaps 7 and 9, old enough to understand right and wrong, but young enough to be unfiltered. I leaned down to be at eye level with them and said, "I need your help." Instantly, their shyness melted into curiosity. I explained that their dad was charged with speeding in a school zone on 2 separate occasions. "What do you think?" I asked. "Is he guilty or not guilty?" Their eyes shifted to their dad, then back to me. In unison, they declared, "Guilty." The courtroom, which can sometimes feel tense, erupted in laughter. That moment of levity was more than comic relief. It was a way to involve these children in the civic process and to impress upon their father the seriousness of his actions. The video's description captures the essence of this exchange. A dad had 2 school zone violations and his daughters throw the book at him. But being there, one felt the affectionate nature of their judgment and the father's humility. Turning to the father, I asked him to tell his side of the story. He admitted he'd been rushing to work and had misjudged the timing of the school zone lights. The second ticket came a week later when he was late dropping his daughters at a morning activity. His honesty counted in his favor. On Caught in Providence, we show the full range of human excuses, but genuine contrition goes a long way. Still, I could not ignore that he had endangered children. I told him, and by extension everyone watching, that our laws may seem inconvenient, but they are written with blood. Somewhere there's a story of a child harmed because a driver didn't slow down. That's why we must respect those flashing school zone signs. To drive the point home, no pun intended, I asked the girls what they thought the fine should be. The younger one whispered, $100, eyes twinkling. The older one suggested, maybe no speeding ever again. I chuckled and told them that the maximum statutory fine was higher than what they proposed. But I also explained that the court considers a person's circumstances. The girls were learning that justice is not merely about punishment, it's about balance. As the article from Gentle Reformation notes, I try to have a just heart and a kind one, listening to people and considering payment plans or dismissals when the ticket is unfair or burdensome. This philosophy guided my decision. I reduced the total fine, ensuring it still sent a message, and allowed the father to pay on a schedule he could manage. Before the family left, I offered the daughters a role in my closing remarks. "You two are now my deputies," I said. "The next time you're riding with your dad and he comes to a school zone, what are you going to do?" They piped up, "Tell him to slow down." That promise, innocent and sincere, was worth more than any fine. In that instant, they became advocates for safety, and their father became accountable to the people who mattered most to him. I reminded the courtroom and the viewing audience that the law's goal is to protect, not to punish unnecessarily. When applied with compassion, it can educate and transform. When the video went live, its reception reaffirmed why we air these hearings. Viewers from around the world wrote to say that they watched it with their children and used it as a teaching tool. Many commented on the way the girls playfully threw the book at their dad, turning a punitive idiom into a loving family moment. Others appreciated the broader message about obeying speed limits in school zones. Some viewers even confessed that they, too, had been guilty of speeding and that watching the episode made them more mindful. For me, this case also exemplified how public scrutiny can encourage better behavior. Knowing that millions might view your hearing adds gravity. In the Caught in Providence clips, viewers see how I take time to listen to the people before me and interact with children, sometimes dismissing tickets when they're unfair and sometimes enforcing them when necessary. They see that justice is not a cold calculus, but a human art. My hope is that these lessons extend beyond the courtroom. If a father hurrying through a school zone hears his child's voice saying, "Remember Judge Caprio," and eases off the accelerator, then we've succeeded. The lasting impact of "Daddy's guilty" reminds me why I continue to serve. It's not about the dollars collected in fines. It's about fostering a culture where laws are respected because people understand their purpose. That morning in court, two little girls helped administer justice with a smile and a lesson. Their father walked away lighter in wallet but richer in wisdom. As for me, I was reminded once again that the smallest cases often carry the most profound truths.